Hi, I'm Nova. For 3 years, I'd been married to Derek, a software engineer who worked remotely while I managed our local coffee shop. Every month, like clockwork, he'd transfer $800 to his sister Vanessa, who supposedly lived across the country in Boston. Babe, just sent Vanessa her monthly allowance, Derek called from his home office as I prepared dinner in our kitchen. I stirred the pasta sauce, trying to sound casual. That's the third time you've increased it this year. She's struggling with medical bills. You know how expensive healthcare is, he replied, not looking up from his screen. When am I going to meet this mysterious sister of yours? I leaned against the doorframe. 3 years of marriage and somehow our schedules never align. Derek's fingers paused over the keyboard. She's really busy with her treatments. Maybe this Christmas? You said that last Christmas, I reminded him, noticing how his jaw tightened. And the Christmas before that. My friend Marcus stopped by the coffee shop the next day, sliding onto a bar stool with his usual smirk. How's married life treating you, Nova? He asked, accepting the latte I handed him. Derek sent another payment to his sister yesterday, I said, wiping down the counter. Marcus raised an eyebrow. The sister you've never met? Supposedly she has chronic health issues and needs financial support. How much are we talking about? I hesitated. $800? Monthly? Marcus whistled. That's almost 10 grand a year, and you've never even spoken to her? He keeps her very separate from our life, I admitted. Says she's private about her condition. That doesn't strike you as weird? Marcus leaned forward. Has he shown you any medical bills? Any proof she exists? Of course she exists, I defended, but doubt crept in. He has photos of them together. Recent ones? Marcus pressed. I paused. From before we met? Does she call? Text? Email? They talk while I'm at work, I replied, realizing how convenient that was. And he says she prefers phone calls to texting. Nova, Marcus said gently, you need to do some digging. That evening, I waited until Derek fell asleep. His phone sat on the nightstand, face down. With trembling fingers, I picked it up. To my surprise, it wasn't locked. The call history showed frequent calls to Vanessa. But when I checked his contacts, something caught my eye. 2 entries for Vanessa, one labeled Vanessa Sis and another simply Vanessa with a different number. I scrolled through text messages and found nothing from either Vanessa. Strange for siblings. But in his photo album, I discovered something that made my heart stop. Recent pictures of Derek with a stunning blonde woman, holding hands, kissing. The location tags read Boston. My hands shaking, I took screenshots and sent them to myself, then carefully returned the phone. I couldn't sleep that night, questions burning through my mind. The next morning, I called Derek's mother, Elaine. Nova, what a lovely surprise, she answered warmly. Elaine, I have a question that might sound strange, I began. I'm planning a surprise for Vanessa's birthday, but I realized I don't know when it is. A long pause. Vanessa? Who's Vanessa, dear? My heart pounded. Derek's sister? Elaine's laugh rang hollow. Derek doesn't have a sister, Nova. He's my only child. What do you mean he doesn't have a sister? I gripped the phone tighter, stepping into the back room of the coffee shop. Derek has never had a sister, Elaine repeated, confusion evident in her voice. Nova, is everything all right? My mind raced. He's been sending money every month to someone named Vanessa. His sister? Oh dear, Elaine's voice dropped. I was afraid something like this might happen again. Again? My stomach nodded. What do you mean again? Elaine sighed. Before you, there was another woman, Vanessa. She was not a good influence. They dated for nearly 2 years and she constantly drained him financially. We thought when he met you, that chapter was closed. So Vanessa is his ex-girlfriend? My voice cracked. And he's still sending her money? Claiming she's his sister with medical bills? I'm so sorry, Nova, Elaine said softly. I had no idea he was still in contact with her. After hanging up, I called Marcus immediately. I need your help, I said as soon as he answered. Can you meet me after work? That evening, Marcus sat across from me at a quiet bar downtown, listening as I explained everything. So this Vanessa isn't his sister. She's an ex he's still supporting financially, Marcus summarized, shaking his head. And from the photos, still seeing romantically. Almost $10,000 a year, I whispered. Money we could have used for a down payment on a house. What are you going to do? Marcus asked, signaling the bartender for another round. I'm going to Boston, I decided firmly. I need to see for myself. Alone? No way, Marcus protested. I'm coming with you. What if this woman is dangerous? Derek has a conference in Chicago next week, I explained. 3 days where he won't expect me to be available much. It's perfect. How will you find her? I pulled out my phone. I have the address from his Amazon account. He sent her a package last month. You're scary good at this, Marcus remarked. I'm a woman who's been lied to, I replied coldly. That makes me very motivated. The bartender Zoe placed our drinks down and lingered. Sorry, but I couldn't help overhearing. Your husband's been sending money to an ex while claiming she's his sister? I nodded, surprised by her interest. My ex-husband did something similar, Zoe shared, leaning against our table. Different lie, same betrayal. If you're serious about confronting her, you should gather evidence first. What kind of evidence? I asked. Bank statements showing the transfers, text messages, photos, and witnesses, she said, glancing at Marcus. People who can corroborate your story if this turns ugly. You think it could? Marcus asked. Zoe's expression hardened. When people are caught in big lies, they rarely go down quietly. The next day, I drove to our bank and spoke with Rachel, our personal banker. I need statements for all transfers to this account, I explained, sliding a paper with Vanessa's details across the desk. Rachel frowned. Normally, your husband handles your finances. Is he aware you're requesting this? We're joint account holders, I reminded her. And I'm handling our taxes this year. Of course, Mrs. Collins, she replied, typing into her computer. It looks like there have been regular transfers of $800 monthly for the past 3 years, with 3 increases this year alone. The most recent transfer was $950. Can you print the records for me? I asked, my voice steady despite the anger rising inside. Certainly, Rachel said, then lowered her voice. Nova, is everything okay? These are significant sums. Just being thorough with our deductions, I lied smoothly. Tax season, you know. As she printed the documents, Rachel leaned forward. Between us, my sister works for a family law attorney. If you need a recommendation, just call me. Her knowing look told me she understood exactly what was happening. The flight to Boston felt endless. Marcus kept trying to distract me with magazine quizzes and terrible jokes, but my mind was fixed on what lay ahead. What if she doesn't know about me? I wondered aloud as our taxi approached the address. What if Derek's been lying to her too? Then you'll both have something in common, Marcus replied, squeezing my hand. But those pictures you found suggest she knows exactly what she's doing. The apartment building was upscale, far nicer than what Derek and I could afford. We waited in the lobby until a resident held the door open, then slipped inside and took the elevator to the 4th floor. My heart thundered as I knocked on apartment 407. Footsteps approached, and the door swung open to reveal the blonde woman from the photos. Recognition flashed in her eyes, quickly replaced by panic. Can I help you? She asked, attempting to sound casual. Hi, Vanessa. I'm Nova Collins, Derek's wife. Her face paled. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? I pulled out my phone, showing her the photos of them together. Because these suggest otherwise. You should leave, she said, trying to close the door. Marcus blocked it with his foot. We just want to talk. 5 minutes, I said. Or I can wait here in the hallway and tell every neighbor who passes by how you've been sleeping with my husband and taking our money. She glared, but stepped aside. The apartment was stunning. Modern furniture, original artwork, and a view of the Boston skyline. Nice place, I remarked coldly. My husband's been very generous with our joint savings. Derek and I have an arrangement, Vanessa replied, crossing her arms. One that worked perfectly until you decided to intrude. An arrangement? I laughed bitterly. He told me you were his sister with medical bills. That's between Derek and me, she snapped. He makes his choices. While lying to his wife, Marcus interjected. Look, Vanessa sighed, dropping onto her designer sofa. We have history. Derek and I dated for years before he met you. We never really got over each other. So instead of breaking up with me honestly, he's been leading a double life? My voice rose. Stealing from our future to fund yours? He didn't want to hurt you, she offered weakly. How considerate, I spat. And the medical bills? Was that just a convenient story? Or are you actually sick? Vanessa shifted uncomfortably. I had a procedure once. Derek felt responsible. The payments started then and just continued. For 3 years? Marcus asked incredulously. That's some procedure. Derek wanted to help me, she insisted. He still loves me. While married to me, I reminded her. Did you know we've been postponing starting a family because we couldn't afford it yet? Guilt flashed across her face, but quickly hardened. That's not my problem. No, but this is... I pulled out the bank statements. Nearly $35,000 from joint accounts. That's my money too, which makes it fraud. You wouldn't, she whispered. I already have, I replied. I've spoken to a lawyer. This is theft, Vanessa. It was a gift, she shouted, standing up. Derek wanted me to have it. Without his wife's knowledge or consent, Marcus pointed out. That's not how gifts from married people work. Vanessa's composure cracked. What do you want from me? An apology? Fine. I'm sorry you found out. I want every penny back, I said firmly. And I want you to tell Derek it's over. Or what? She challenged. I stepped closer. Or I file police reports in both Boston and Phoenix for fraud. I provide evidence to the IRS about unreported gifts, and I ensure everyone in both our lives knows exactly what kind of people you are. You're bluffing, she sneered. Try me, I replied, my voice deadly calm. I have nothing left to lose. Vanessa's face contorted with rage. You think you can threaten me? Derek will never choose you over me. Never! She lunged forward, grabbing my arm. Get out of my apartment before I call the police. Perfect, I replied, nodding to Marcus, who had been recording our entire conversation. Assault on video. That helps our case. Vanessa's eyes widened as she saw the phone. You can't use that. You recorded me without consent. Massachusetts is a two-party consent state, I agreed. But assault is still assault, and those bank records still show fraud. As we moved toward the door, Vanessa grabbed a glass vase and hurled it against the wall near my head. This isn't over, she screamed. You'll regret this. The police station in Boston was busy, but Officer Bennett took our statement immediately. Let me get this straight, she said, reviewing the evidence. Your husband claimed this woman was his sister, sent her money from your joint accounts, but she's actually his ex-girlfriend? And possibly current affair partner, I added. We have bank records, photos, and recorded threats. The assault and threats are clear violations, Officer Bennett nodded. We'll coordinate with authorities in Phoenix on the fraud allegations. 3 days later, Derek returned home, freezing when he saw his mother sitting in our living room beside me. Mom, what's going on? He asked, confusion evident. Sit down, Derek, I said calmly. We need to talk about Vanessa. His face drained of color. What about her? Your sister? I asked with icy precision. Or should I say your girlfriend in Boston? I can explain, he stammered, looking between us. Please do, Elaine cut in. Explain why you've been lying to your wife for 3 years. It's complicated, he began weakly. Actually, it's quite simple, I interrupted. You've been committing fraud, Derek. Using our joint funds to support a woman you're romantically involved with? Fraud. He laughed nervously. Don't be dramatic, Nova. I've filed police reports, I informed him. Vanessa assaulted me when I confronted her. She's facing charges. You went to Boston? Derek's voice rose in panic. I had every right, I countered. I'm your wife, at least I am on paper. Nova, please, he pleaded, suddenly switching tactics. I made a mistake. Vanessa has always had this hold on me. Save it, I said, standing. The divorce papers are on the kitchen table. Divorce? No! Derek rushed toward me, grabbing my shoulders. You can't do this! I'll stop sending her money! Too late, I replied, stepping back. The trust is gone. I love you, he insisted, tears forming. Vanessa meant nothing. A 3-year nothing, Elaine interjected. I raised you better than this. Mom, stay out of it, he snapped before turning back to me. We can fix this. Go to counseling. There's more, I said quietly. Your conference in Chicago? I know you were in Boston. His shoulders slumped. How? Location tracking on our shared family plan, I explained. The one you forgot to remove yourself from. 6 months later, I sat with Marcus and Zoe on the patio of my new apartment. The judge awarded me the full amount plus interest, I announced, showing them the court order. What about Vanessa? Marcus asked. Community service for the assault, and she has to repay her portion, I explained. Her new apartment is significantly less luxurious. And Derek? Zoe inquired. His company found out he was using corporate travel for personal trips, I replied. He's on probation and paying back those expenses too. Do you regret any of it? Marcus asked quietly. Going after them both so hard? I considered this, watching the sunset. Not for a second. They betrayed me, stole from me, and would have continued if I hadn't stood up for myself. To Nova, Zoe toasted. Who reminds us all that sometimes the best revenge is simply ensuring people face the consequences of their actions. What's next for you? Marcus asked. Living my life on my terms? I smiled. No more lies, no more betrayal. Have you thought about telling your story? Zoe suggested. There are others out there being deceived who might need to hear it. Maybe I will. I nodded. What would you do if you discovered your partner was living a double life? Would you confront them, walk away, or fight for justice? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more real-life stories of overcoming betrayal.